For their host, Alan Porter. Alan, what's going on, man? How are you?
Doing good today, Neil. It's a beautiful day here in North Carolina, but hot as the dickens.
All right. And our topic today, why older Americans are still working, the hidden retirement crisis. Exploring why growing numbers of retirees are not retiring and what you can do to avoid being forced back to work. Why is it? This is what we're going to cover today. Is reports reveal that many Americans continue working into their 80s, not by choice, but due to financial need, inadequate savings, medical expenses, or social reasons. Retirement no longer looks it's used for many, according to a MoneyWeek.com article. Highlighting this really opens the door to discussions on safe retirement income strategies, eliminating market risk, and planning with long-term financial security in mind. Alan, we're seeing more Americans, some in their 80s, still working just to get by. What should listeners understand about this growing trend?
Neil, the biggest problem I've seen is not having a plan that should have started decades ago. Many people are not prepared for the expenses of retirement, and they don't think about it until it happens. If you got grandkids, you're spending more money on grandkids than you ever thought possible. I know for a fact, I have 5 of them. Healthcare costs are tremendous in when you go to retire. The other thing, the cost of long-term care will decimate a person's retirement. There's a thing, it's called Medicaid spend down, Neil. Let's say that your spouse loses 2 of the 6 activities of daily living and have to go to nursing home. Long-term care costs between $50,000 to $200,000 a year. And a thing called Medicaid spend down, I don't care if you got $2 million in that account. If you didn't plan for that, then the government's going to confiscate your assets to pay for the person in the long-term care. And the spouse will be left with approximately $130,000, 1 car, 1 house, and a small subsistence allowance. Like I said, I don't care if you had $2 million in there, but you've got to have a plan, Neil, and you got to expand your mind, think outside the box in conventional financial planning, because very large, vast majority of Americans are not prepared for it.
What financial missteps or gaps are most commonly causing people to work longer?
One of the main things I find with many clients that run out of money before they run out of life is they think they're diversified in a stock portfolio in a 401k or an IRA. You're not diversified in a stock portfolio. If the market goes down, unless you're in certain stocks, it all goes down. And people don't understand, Neil, if you have a 50% loss, just like what happened in 2008, it takes 100% gain just to get back to even. Again, you're running into sequence returns risk if you retire during that time, because you're taking money from an asset that's depleting, and you're not putting anything else back into it. 401k, the IRA, that type of retirement system is outdated. It's taxed at regular income, and on average, only lasts 5 to 7 years. But the thing is it's full of risk. It compounds all the risk in retirement, Neil. Tax risk, government risk, longevity risk, which is a risk multiplier. The number one fear in retirement, running out of money before you run out of life. And like I said, sequence of returns risk. Excuse me.
For those nearing retirement, worried about running out of money, what do you recommend they do right now?
First thing, if they're eligible, I would look at doing cash value life insurance policy, which is the best tax code approved, tax-free retirement system available today. Now, we've been inundated by the propaganda of Wall Street, fee-based advisors. The only way to save for retirement is a 401k or an IRA that only compound, like I said before, the risk in retirement. The other thing that I would look at is doing fixed or fixed indexed annuities, because not one thing, they can give you the same distribution rate, but with less money. As an example, and I've said this many times in the podcast, you got $1 million in the stock portfolio. You'd only need, for 4% distribution rate, that's $40,000 a year. You'd only need approximately $650,000 of that stock portfolio at age 65 in this certain fixed index annuity to give you the same $40,000 a year, and that's guaranteed for life. It's not guaranteed for 30 years. And it eliminates a lot of the risk in retirement. And when you take that extra $350,000 and put it into pay the taxes, no, there's no required minimum distribution. There's no taxation of Social Security or the means testing of Medicare Part B, which will be in the thousands of dollars per year. And it also eliminates or mitigates many of the risk in retirement. Number one fear, like I said, running out of money before you run out. You will never run out of money. I don't care if that accumulation value goes to zero. And you could also have it with your spouse. It's a 0.5% limit, but they're insuring 2 lives. The insurance company is 2 lives. And the other great thing about this, Neil, you're guaranteed by contract never to have a loss due to a market downturn. We use indexing strategies such as the Barclays Dynamic Balance Index, the Euro Index. There's 175 different indices right there. That's how we grow the value. You have a zero floor. But when these indexing strategies go up, you get an increasing income on a depleting asset. Now think about that, Neil. You can't do that with a stock portfolio.
For those near, how do rising costs like healthcare and debt affect retirement timelines? And what can people do to prepare in advance?
The thing too, people need to understand cash value life insurance policies. What we can do, you can become your own bank, borrow from yourself, pay yourself compound interest instead of the financial institutions, eliminate the effective interest costs. But how do rising costs like healthcare and debt affect retirement timelines? What can people do to prepare for this? I show people how to reduce and possibly eliminate both debt and taxes. I set them up with a tax-free retirement if possible. I eliminate or mitigate all the risk in retirement. I show people how they collect their own bank, like I just said. But the other thing too, I can reduce people's healthcare costs anywhere from 20 to 40%. That's going to be solving a lot of problems right there, just the healthcare alone. But when you get your money tax-free, it does not affect the taxation of Social Security, the means testing, Medicare Part B. Taking a huge step to sustaining yourself guaranteed income. And you've got to have guaranteed income in retirement. Neil, I'm not against the stock portfolio, but when people have 60% in a stock portfolio when they go to retire, that, in my thinking, is not a good idea.
Are there demographic groups like women, singles, or renters who are especially vulnerable to this hidden retirement crisis?
Understand this. I think 75% of the women are widowers by the age 75. And with single people, understand they've only got one form of income in retirement. They've got only one Social Security check. So yeah, there's a lot of problems with women and single income winners and renters because you're renting, you're just giving that money to somebody else. But if you have your house, usually when you go to retirement, it's paid for. So you have an asset. And that asset can be absolutely huge. It can be one of your largest assets also. And you can use that asset and do what they call it's a reverse type mortgage. But you can use that asset to aid in your retirement. Have your house pay you back. You pay for your house your entire life. Now have your house pay you back, especially if you don't have any kids or send an inheritance to some.
What's the most empowering message you can offer to someone who's afraid retirement might be out of reach?
Give me a call. Give me a call at 910-551-1046. Again, I don't charge for my counseling services, Neil. It's all about education. Like I said, I teach people to think outside the box of conventional financial planning. I show them the strategies the wealthy and the banking institutions have been using for years. I show people how to become their own bank. And as I said, I show people how to reduce and possibly eliminate both debt and taxes, but I eliminate the risk in retirement. And I also save people a tremendous amount of money in healthcare, which will save them so much money in retirement. Not only retirement, but before. And I give them protection for them and their family when they do these cash value life insurance policies through the death benefit, which you buy for pennies on the dollar, which will mitigate or completely eliminate long-term care risk, but it protects your family. Let's say, Neil, you're driving, you got a family, you're killed in a car wreck. You got a life insurance policy for $500,000 to $1 million. That's all tax-free money. You talk to your wife or something, how much life insurance do you have? He doesn't have enough. I want him to have more. But there's so many things out there, Neil, that people don't understand because we've been inundated by the propaganda of Wall Street. The only place to save for your retirement is a 401k or a stock portfolio, which, like I said before, they only compound the risk in retirement.
Again, call you at 910-551-1046 or email you strategicwealth0@gmail.com or go to strategicwealthstrategies.com. Appreciate it, Alan.
Have a great weekend.
That was Strategic Wealth Strategies podcast, guys.